Hey guys, and welcome to a Just Thoughts video, this time focusing on the Nintendo Direct that aired yesterday. The Nintendo Direct which focused solely on the Nintendo 3DS. Now, what I'm going to do in this Thoughts video is I'm going to go through the presentation and just kind of give you my thoughts and impressions on each game that was announced. This order is based on the UK presentation, so it might be a little different to the American or Japanese Direct. Now, before I get started, let's just clarify that my hype for this Direct was pretty much non-existent compared to any other Nintendo Direct. The fact of the matter is, the NX launches in 6 months' time, yet no one has actually seen it. So, I don't really know what Nintendo's planning, but launching a Nintendo 3DS Direct at this point in time, no one really cares. I mean, I love the 3DS, and there was some pretty good stuff announced here. Not much, but there was some. But people just aren't that interested at the moment. If they're going to support the 3DS through the NX's life cycle like they say they are, well, fair enough. But at the moment, we just want to see the NX. But hey, we'll go with what we got. So the presentation opened up with Pokemon Sun and Moon, which, you know, I could have kind of predicted. There was definitely going to be some Sun and Moon news somewhere in there. I was actually quite surprised how little of it there was. We pretty much only got confirmation of a Alolan Rattata, which is a dark type, which has been rumoured for ages. So a lot of leaks and rumours and all that, a lot of people are going to be looking into more in depth now, because a lot of people are going to believe certain ones are true and not. So that's quite interesting, really, for me. But I do think they could have probably announced more. I was quite surprised how little they announced on Sun and Moon. Maybe just showing off more new Pokemon, stuff like that. But, you know, you can't really complain. It's still news. And I did love the soundtrack, actually, to the main theme. That was really cool, that played through the video. Then Nintendo jumped straight in there with Mario Maker for the 3DS. In hindsight, you know, we should have saw this coming. The Wii U, you know, it's not a surprise to anyone the Wii U hasn't done that well, but it does have some really good games. So it only makes sense that Nintendo are going to try and port them either to the 3DS or the upcoming NX. So I'm pretty confident that within time, nearly all of the Wii U software is going to move over to the NX or 3DS. The problem with this is it's a downgrade. You know, Super Mario Maker for the 3DS is, you know, not going to be as good as the Wii U one. Foremost because you can't do most of the online features, which is the best part of Mario Maker. So that's really bizarre to me. So I have no interest in this game. I guess if you don't own a Wii U, it's pretty cool, but the best part about it you can't do. So yeah, but you know. It truly is a sign that the Wii U is dead. So yeah, I wouldn't pick up a Wii U now if you don't have one. Nintendo then moved on to Mario Party, which, you know, it looks fine. I'm really not that interested in it. I used to love Mario Party back in the GameCube days. In recent years, you know, I just don't really care about Mario Party. I feel that they're trying to go in a new direction with it, but can't decide where they want to go, and it's mainly just a bit naff. That said, it doesn't look bad. I just don't think it will be a very memorable outing for Mario and his pals. They announced some new modes, showed off the amiibo again, blah 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 blah. Looks alright, probably won't last long. It's the kind of game I'll play once and probably never again. Then next up, in the UK Direct at least, they talked about Zelda's 30th anniversary. And for a very slight moment, I thought the way they were building up for it, and I don't know if it was the same in the American one, it almost felt like they were going to announce a new Zelda game for 3DS. You know, and I didn't think that would happen, but there was a small part of me that thought, whoa, maybe we might actually get another 3DS Zelda before Breath of the Wild. As it turns out, we're just going to get some more amiibo, because, you know, there's not enough amiibo in the world. That said, they do look pretty cool. There's a 8-bit Link one, a Ocarina of Time Link, and 2 from Wind Waker, Zelda and Toon Link. So they look pretty cool. For me, it's about the figures, collecting figures. You know, their actual functionality doesn't really bother me, but if you actually look at what an amiibo is meant to do, in terms of their functionality, it's pretty naff, because there's 3 different links in that one set, and they all effectively do the same thing. So you're not really selling it as what it's meant to be. Nintendo are purely riding off the fact that these are nice figures that people might want to buy, which, you know, for people like me, works. So whatever. It was nice to see them just kind of celebrate the fact they're releasing the, what is it, Arts and Artifacts book, and they're planning 2 more releases and all that sort of stuff. That's really cool. Obviously talk about Symphony of the Goddesses, releasing Skyward Sword on the Wii. You know, nothing mind-blowing, but, you know, it's a nice little touch there. Shame they couldn't, you know, celebrate Metroid in the same way, but yep, moving on. They also touched on the Hyrule Warriors DLC. And I'll be completely honest with you, the moment Hyrule Warriors moved to the 3DS, I kind of stopped caring. I still download the characters on the Wii U game because the new characters do interest me, but I have no interest in playing the 3DS game. As with the Mario Maker thing, it's the downgraded version. You know, Hyrule Warriors runs much better on the Wii U version, and even then it didn't run that great. So I have literally no desire to play the 3DS version, despite the fact, you know, there's a lot more extra content. So it's a real shame, because I kind of want to, but it feels more of an effort to do that than it's worth. That said, you know, the Sand Wand looked really cool. Pretty happy they brought that in, and I'm really happy for Toon Zelda they've used the Phantom. Brilliant idea. I was really scared they wouldn't do that, and I'm really happy that they have. So pretty happy with that. Next up, they announced the amiibo functionality for Animal Crossing New Leaf, which we knew was coming. They kind of expanded on it more, and I think it's a real compliment, I guess, to Animal Crossing New Leaf, the longevity of the game, that people still play it 3 years on. It's also clearly Nintendo just buying time and trying to milk more money out of a 3-year-old game, but, you know, that said, it works. People are still interested in that game, either still play it or will pick it up, because it is a good game. So yeah, that was pretty cool. They announced some more amiibo cards, because, you know, 400 Animal Crossing amiibo cards isn't enough. They need to make another 50. These ones seem to have a bit more functionality than the other 400. So that might be a bit of a kick in the balls to people that have started collecting them, but that's the way it is. They also announced a Animal Crossing mini direct, which was kind of random, because it kind of seemed like they've announced everything they need to announce, so maybe there's a bit more to it. That mini direct is on this November the 2nd. Now, you would hope that by that point Nintendo has shown off the NX, so based on that, a lot of people probably won't care about this update by that point, because everyone's going to be on the hype train for the NX. You never know though, they could announce Animal Crossing NX there, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. So yeah, pretty happy with that Animal Crossing news. You know, nothing mind-blowing. It's, you know, clearly, like I said, Nintendo buying time. Nintendo then announced, you know, Rhythm Heaven coming out, which is cool, but, you know, that game's been out yonks in Japan, so, you know, I've seen a lot of the content. Stuff about Dragon Quest, which I have no interest in, but I'm sure that pleased some people. A load of stuff about Miiverse. Not Miiverse, sorry, Street Pass Quest. Their new Street Pass games and that. Again, I have no interest. Clearly Nintendo buying time. I guess for some people that is something. For me, doesn't really bother me, but, you know, it's cool to see they're still supporting Street Pass, despite the fact I don't think anyone takes their 3DS out with them now. Then they talked about Picross, which again is pretty cool, but it's a very specific audience, so yeah. Then they did what I found really cringeworthy. They kind of showed a release schedule up until December, you know, with all these games they've just announced slotted in, including Mario Maker. And I just found it really cringeworthy, because it was like, the games that are launching from now until Christmas aren't that great, and they were trying to make them out to be bigger than they are. Like, look, we've got loads coming out, and it's just like, yeah, loads of mediocre crap that we don't want to play. Well, crap's probably a harsh word, but, you know, if you compare to some previous years, it's just like, yeah, Federation Force, Mario Party, Mario Maker. They pop Picross on there, which, you know, Picross looks great, but it's a really specific audience, so putting that out there, you know, it's not going to appeal to a huge audience is very specific. It's a puzzle game. No gripe against Picross, I love that game. But you know what I mean. It was quite a cringeworthy moment for me. Nintendo then put the final nail in the coffin for the Wii U. I will forever remember this Direct as the Nintendo Direct that killed the Wii U. They announced that Yoshi's Woolly World is coming to the 3DS also. Now, that for me was just it, you know. The Wii U was down on the ground and, you know, they kicked it with Mario Maker and then they just stamped on its head with Woolly World. It's just, it was painful. And it's really depressing because the trailer opened up with Woolly Yoshi and Poochie opening up a 3DS. Now, back in the day with Nintendo, I probably would have thought, oh wow, look, a new Yoshi Woolly World game, like a sequel or something. But it's got to the point now where I was just like, oh great, they're porting the game. Without even seeing it, without even seeing the title, without even being told it was a port, I knew it was a port. But, you know, go back a couple of years, I potentially would have thought, oh wow, we're getting a sequel. And if it was a sequel, I'd be really excited, but it's not. It's just a port with some added stuff in. Not a lot, not to warrant you buying the game again, but they've decided to do that. The animated shorts look really good, the screenshots we got from them. That looks really cool. I'm happy they're doing that. The Poochie amiibo is pretty cool. Poochie's quite an obscure character though, so I don't know how well that will do. It might sell well based off its cuteness factor and not the fact that people know who Poochie is. I'll obviously pick it up, but yeah, that was a bit random. But yeah, like I said, final nail in the coffin for the Wii U. Like, it actually kind of made me laugh. I was like, really? Is this really happening? So, without a shadow of a doubt, games like Splatoon, Super Smash Bros, probably Mario Kart, probably Donkey Kong Country, definitely Star Fox Zero, they're all going to end up on the NX. So, it's a massive insult to people like me who have picked up all the Wii U games and been really dedicated to the console. But I guess that's a topic for another time. So yeah, after delivering Yoshi, I was like, wow, you know, they can't possibly do much more. And luckily they didn't. Not in terms of killing the Wii U anyway. They talked a bit about that Oasis game they're making. It reminds me kind of, what was it, Project Steam? It's like a new IP, but the way they've gone about revealing it and that, they haven't really sold it. I don't really get it. I kind of lost interest. It might be good. I might have a look at it. More detail at a later date. Then Nintendo announced a brand new game. Credit to them in this Direct that they did give out a lot more information, a lot more release dates than I expected they would. It's just a shame a lot of it was very average. So the new game they announced was Mario Sports Mega Mix or something like that. I found it quite ironic how I've literally uploaded a Mario Sports idea video, you know, a few weeks ago, and then this came out, which it just looks so average. You know, it includes 5 sports: tennis, golf, baseball, soccer or football, and horse racing, which is really obscure. But they all look so bland and really basic and just remind me of Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. You know, nothing oozed Mario. It was just 5 very bland games. Depressingly, the most exciting looking game looked like the horse racing one, because the actual course the horses were running on wasn't just a generic Mario Peach Dome like field. So that's really worrying, because you would have thought that the tennis and golf games had mastered the formula, but it's early days, so it'd be really unfair to judge. But it's like I said again, it's Nintendo clearly buying some time. But yeah, sports games for me make more sense on home consoles. They're the kind of games you want to get friends around, gather around the TV, especially something like baseball or tennis or even golf. All of them. You know, that's something you want to see around the big screen. And but whatever. That's not going to happen on the Wii U, is it? And that was basically it. And then Nintendo obviously dropped the final announcement, and we all knew there was going to be a surprise in it. And we weren't. I don't think anyone was particularly excited about it. So the drop was Pikmin 3DS, which has split fans in two. I think there's people that are very negative about it, and there's people that are quite positive about it. I think I'm in the middle ground at the moment. So as soon as the trailer started, as most people, I knew it was Pikmin straight away with that blue onion thing. But within seconds of the trailer starting, I knew it. Well, I didn't know. I just got this vibe of Chibi Robo Ziplash. It was like flashbacks of how they destroyed that franchise in my eyes. So it was like an initial fear, I think. So it didn't look bad. It didn't look horrendous. It was just, as with everything in this direct, very mediocre, very average. Again, it's very early days. You know, I think if you're going to put Pikmin on the 3DS, there wasn't really a lot more you could do with it. It kind of had to take this route. And I do like the look of some things, and I think it could turn out really well. As a lot of people were saying, though, if this is like the next big Pikmin that Miyamoto was talking about, then I'll be pissed off. But I don't think it is. I really hope it's not. Miyamoto loves his Pikmin characters, and I truly hope that he does not foresee this as the direction for Pikmin. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I mean, you look at Pikmin 3. Pikmin 3 was amazing, beautiful game. I can't see why they wouldn't want to replicate that. So yeah, it was alright, you know. Pikmin 3DS looks okay. The heavy focus of the touchscreen controls is very reminiscent of the early days of the DS and the 3DS, where everything was touch controlled. It doesn't really exist anymore, so it's a bit weird. It feels like it should have launched, you know, a couple of years ago, but that's not necessarily a turn off for me. It seems a bit weird, you know. It's been a while since we've had a game like that, especially from Nintendo, so not necessarily a bad thing. And I would have been very unhappy if the game would have been solely controlled by buttons. It just wouldn't feel right for a Pikmin game. And then that's about it for the Direct. I've pretty much covered everything. And as you've probably guessed from hearing me speak, it was very average. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't say I'm particularly more excited having watched it. I wouldn't say there's anything I'm particularly eager to play. I just want them to announce the NX already so we can start getting excited for that. So yeah, very average Direct, but I will give them credit. They chucked out a lot of news. Whether it was great, bad, average, they did chuck out a lot. There was a lot more in there than I expected. A lot of games that are coming out this year, a lot of games that are coming out next year, and a lot of stuff that launched after the presentation. So yeah, credit where credit's due. There was a lot in there. Just it wasn't really enough to excite me. They could have announced 2 or 3 things that were great and I would have been happy. Instead we got like 20 odd things that were all really average. Anyway, enough of that. I've been talking for nearly 20 minutes now. I highly doubt anyone's going to have stuck with me to the end, but if you have, thank you very much. And do check out Keen TV, where I will be posting more Thought videos and I do a whole manner of other Nintendo stuff. So thank you very much guys, and I will catch you in the next video.